I'm not very good at these intros, so I'm just going to get straight to the point here. My name is Jeremy Evans, and I am the creator of the podcast or audio drama for people. It is called the Enchanted Forest Tales, and it's basically a story that sets in a fairy tale world that I've created, but set particularly in this place called the Enchanted Forest. And it follows a group of whimsical characters that you see on my wall here. And from there, you will follow these characters on their own journeys, followed by other stories that will be told in Enchanted Forest. I guess you could say it can have a couple of like anthology stories in there too, but it's mainly following a cast of characters most of the time. You could probably think of it as like Animaniacs or Tiny Toons or Looney Tunes. You know, you have a main cast, but then there's other characters that you'll follow in other stories that will be told and whatnot. It is an adult comedy, and if this was a show, a video show, I would make it an adult cartoon because I'm a big fan of animation. I'm a big fan of adult cartoons from, Archer, Venture Brothers, and other shows that help influence, like Adventure Time, regular show, to name a few. So how did this show kind of come about? Well, first off, this started around, I want to say like roughly spring of 2018. And from there, I was working on a show, and it was called Welcome to the Party. And it was a show followed by 3 heroes that were trying to make a name for themselves. But that plan didn't work out. It got canceled. And I wrote 10 episodes of that. And that was a bit of a learning experience. So I needed to come up with a new idea. And I knew I still wanted to do fantasy in a different way. So I started looking into more fairy tale stuff. And I came across the word Enchanted Forest. And I think that's where I started kind of going deeper into that. So, through Wikipedia and other, online sites and whatnot, I was trying to figure out, like, what does the Enchanted Forest would look like? What does it contain? And all that stuff. And when we hear the Enchanted Forest, you might have heard that word from stories like Snow White, Beauty and the Beast, Sleeping Beauty, maybe Red Riding Hood. But basically, you can probably hear those words from the Andrew Lang fairy tale books or the Brother Grimm's, more familiar for people. And from there, you learn that they contain like so many different creatures like trolls, orcs, goblins, elves, gnomes, all that kind of stuff, along with talking animals and just the mystery around the Enchanted Forest. So I knew that that's where I wanted to start it with. And when I started this story, I wanted to make sure not to limit myself. So I decided I wanted this Enchanted Forest to be huge. So huge that I don't even know how big it is. And in that forest, you would have different sections. Like, say, like a neighborhoods. They have different neighborhoods in this forest. And so the main story where it begins will be in the center of the forest, known as the Evergreen Woods. And from there, that's where the story kind of starts to unravel following these characters, which starts out with a goblin living by himself in this house, and then followed by a bugbear here. My finger's not even pointing right. Bugbear. And from there, we start getting introduced to all these other characters and his adventures, and then the cast starts coming about. So that whole idea and writing the first 5 episodes for the first season was done by the end of summer of 2018. And from there, it was all about learning how to cast and all stuff. Because one thing I definitely wanted to do is I wanted to learn it all based on like the experience that I have seen from people that do audio dramas. Now, some audio dramas shows do have a cast and a production team and whatnot, but I kind of wanted to learn all this myself, and I wanted to learn how to do it myself. So not only do I do most of the voices in the show, I do casting, direct, editing, and even do the sound effects, which I think is one of the funnest part of doing the show, because it gives you a chance to kind of figure out how to make sound effects. It's almost like a puzzle, like figuring out how to do the sound that you're looking for and what items you can find in your house, or research that you can find, like, watching YouTube videos, figuring out like how did they come with an idea, and then how do you want to kind of follow that idea and whatnot. And I guess I wanted to not use so much of online sound effects already made. I kind of just want to just have that authentic and the fun of I made this sound effect and whatnot. So from there, when I was starting to cast people, it was a slow, steady kind of thing, and scheduling, because everybody has their own lives based on the cast members I have. So I had to kind of work with them, and so that took about a couple of years to kind of get that going, and then it went a little bit longer because I could have had it aired about like a year ago, but also then I wanted to do this thing called Enchanted Shorts, and I wanted to do short episodes followed by the first season, kind of telling fun things to learn about the forest, because as you're listening to the show, the goal is to learn more about the forest and learn more about what goes on the forest, followed by certain stories that are being told, because Mick here is kind of like the tour guide of the show, kind of telling more about what's going on in the forest, what different sections and all this stuff. And then Dorn, the bugbear here, he is basically representing the audience. He is basically the one being taken for the tour and learning. So whatever Dorn learns, you're learning too, and whatnot. And so I wanted to do that with the talking animals and just make this place so a mystery, danger, hilarious. So doing an adult comedy works better for me, because based on what I wanted to write, it kind of helped me open up and give me unlimited source of what I wanted to do with these characters. So if you're interested in listening to the show, it is on all listening platforms, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and whatnot. And you can, of course, listen on here on YouTube. You can listen here on here. And so I am really enjoying this, and I'm hoping to see where this goes, because my goal of this YouTube channel is not only talk about more about Enchanted Forest, but I want to do character profiles of these characters, kind of give you more story about them. I wanted to talk more about the lore of the Enchanted Forest. I want to talk about the music that influenced me, animation movies, or just movies in general that help influence this show to me. I want to even go as far as even talking about just animation movies that I like in general. And with the character profiles, I want to do season by season discussing what their story's about, and definitely talk about each episode and how I came up with the idea and what was the influence of that. So if you end up liking this video and you're wanting more as I go ahead and subscribe. I would like to have you as part of the group as I try to show more videos. And as I'm working from season to season writing, there might be slowdown on production of putting out videos, but right now I could probably do a couple more videos and go from there. So thank you for, listening to me, and can't wait to show you more videos about the world of the Enchanted Forest Tales. Thank you.